The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the individual guests.
What is going on, my Go Squad? Welcome to the Armed Citizen Podcast Live. This is episode number 275. Today's date is Tuesday, January 10th, 2023. For only a few days. We are exactly a week away from the actual first day of SHOT, but we're going to be rolling a couple days early, so we're within like a few days. So we're excited about that. We're going to talk a little bit about SHOT. We got a special guest here with us tonight, a couple special guests here tonight with us that we're going to talk with them about all the stuff that's happening within the industry. We are live as always on YouTube, so if you're out there in the live chat, make sure you say something because honestly, we don't know that you're out there unless you do. If you have questions throughout the night, make sure you tag myself or tag Clover Tack, and we'll make sure that those questions get asked as long as they're kind of going with the flow of the conversation. If you want to text into the show or whatever, yes, you can do all that. Utilize the Ghost Tactical Hotline presented by our good friends Rod and Shelly Gates over at Aegis Gun Care. That phone number is 530-364-4678, and go check out aegisguncare.com. If you're a veteran, really anybody, but especially if you're a veteran and you're in that hole, you're in the darkness and you're looking for that light, call me, text me, email me 24/7. I can't give you any medical advice, but I could be a pretty decent ear, maybe talking through some stuff. If you are looking for someone that can get you some medical attention, remember two things. One, you're definitely not alone in this fight. You've got a lot of brothers out here that are willing and able to help you in any way possible. And two, the world is a much better place with you in it. So please utilize the Veteran Crisis Hotline, 1-800-273-8255. Once again, 1-800-273-8255, or on your cell phone, dial 988. We are spotlighting, as always, United States Marine Corps. If you have any questions on what it takes to earn the title United States Marine, see the website marines.com. And we are also a proud member of the Self-Defense Radio Network. So go check out all your favorite pro-gun, pro-trade podcasts over at selfdefenseradio.net. Now, let me get this off of my ugly mug and bring in, I don't know what to call them, man. I would say the crew. I'd call them a bunch of hoodlums. It is what it is.
Crew is trademarked, just so you know.
Your Clover Tack crew is trademarked, but unless you're like, going to say that no one could ever use the word crew ever again, first of all, that'd be pretty badass. If like you could trademark the word crew, that would be pretty cool. Like, was it Ohio State University try to trademark the word "the"? Really? You're gonna trademark the word "the"? Okay, that turned down pretty quickly. But yeah. Speaking of which, that little kind of guy shows up every week. Dude, I sent him the wrong link on I sent him an Instagram link one time, and he still shows up to the live stream. I don't know how he does it. It's the magical powers of the leprechaun from the great state of Texas, the guy who rides shotgun with this all the time. The tactical virus. Leprechaun. What's up, Clover? How you doing, man?
What up?
It's only a few days away, brother.
I know.
I have a big feeling that you and I think differently of SHOT Show than Kyle's to be thinking about it right now. I'm just saying. I have a feeling.
Guarantee. But what do you expect from a company that doesn't sell a shotgun, right? I mean,
shots fired. Wow, shots fired.
Hey,
not shot because the shotgun don't. Yeah, not shot fired.
shot fired. That's the way that goes. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Lord have mercy.
I peppered him, man. Peppered him.
Oh, there's a lot of puns we could throw in there. Right. Yeah. We'll come back to you in a second. The shotgun of the week. So be thinking about the shotgun of the week, since obviously you've pointed out Anderson's not making one yet. Maybe we don't know what's coming down the line.
This is true.
But, we'll figure it out. And it might be the Clover Tack edition. They might name their shotgun after you. I'm just saying.
They wouldn't be able to keep up with the demand. So I don't advise you.
Is that what it is? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's got a ring to it. The Clover Tack shotgun.
No, it doesn't. Don't feed his ego. Don't feed into it. It's not worth it. He's already got a big enough head as it is. That's why he doesn't have his camera on. His head literally can't fit into the screen. Just saying. Just saying.
That's true. Neither can my rear end, but that's a whole different story.
I would say this is a family-friendly show, but we all know that's not true. So all the way from Arizona, the True Shot Gun Club, our good friend, the redhead, soulless ginger bastard. What's up, John? How you doing, buddy?
What's up, everybody? It's a good day to be alive, right?
Absolutely.
It's a Travis Tritt song, ain't it?
Absolutely.
What's a Travis Tritt song, isn't it?
It's a good. That's my favorite Travis Tritt song.
Very good one. Yeah,
that's a good one. I'm not a huge Travis Tritt fan, but that's a really good one.
I just want to add some. If Anderson made a Clover Tack shotgun, it would sell out because Clover would buy it. He'd have like the people who do books. It'd be in his garage. He'd hand them out to people.
That's fair. Like that's fair. Yeah, he would buy them just to say they sold out. And then he'd be selling them out of the garage, trying to make a few bucks. Let's make $10 off each shotgun with some out of the garage. Hey, you got to do what you got to do. And from Anderson Manufacturing, our good friend, we had him on about a month or so ago, I think. Maybe, has it been about a month? Maybe a little bit longer, maybe a little bit shorter. About a month. We got Kyle. What's up, man? I bet you're not busy at all this week, are you?
No, just laid back, kicked back, got my feet up on the desk. Got something important next week. I don't know what though. I can't put my finger on it.
Yeah.
But thanks for having me on again.
People keep talking about next week, and like I'm going to Vegas to have a good time. I don't understand. Apparently, there's like a big deal going on out there.
Can't be SHOT Show because I have definitive proof SHOT Show died in 2022.
It was the worst SHOT Show last year in the world, and it'll never happen again. It's dying. Yeah, no one's ever going to go back to SHOT Show. So we must be going for the AVNs. You never know.
I mean, that would be cool.
I mean, it's what it is, right? Going for the big concrete show, Can you imagine if a bunch of us rolled into the concrete show all like tatted up and operated out? You're like, what in the world is going on with this place? That'd be hilarious. Like, we need some concrete. Why? There's some bodies outside we got to take care of. Oh, I'm sorry. We got some buildings we got to build. Yeah. Yeah, we'll have fun. Clover. Oh. He just snuck in.
You did.
He's coming in faceless. He's sneaking in. Faceless. What's up, Chase? How you doing, man?
What's up, y'all? Yeah, it snuck in last minute.
Yeah, you did. Thanks for showing up on time, Clover. I mean, yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta be huge like Clover and just do what I want to do, show what I want.
Live.
He's huge. He's huge in Turkey, but like they don't realize only like 7 people in Turkey have like internet.
This is true.
So he is 100% engagement rate, but there's only 7 people over there that watch his stuff.
Yeah, that's a true story.
That's what it is.
They're probably all sitting in the factory too.
They all work for Gerson. Clover, what's a shotgun of the week, my man?
Do you have calamine lotion?
I always have calamine lotion.
You're gonna have to have it.
I start itching when you start talking fun shit.
This one literally checks all the FUD boxes. It's gonna crush your soul. Are you ready? The Colt 1855 revolving 10 gauge shotgun. Boom.
What in the Sam hell?
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, that just like usually when I don't know any of the shotguns you ever talk about. So usually I'm Googling while you're talking about them. I don't even want to Google that. Like I think that I'd get hives. I think a revolving 10 gauge.
You would.
100% I'd get hives.
Chase knows what I'm talking about, though.
Well, Chase is a big FUD too, though.
I know.
Kyle, you a FUD? Are you a FUD at heart?
Sometimes.
I understand.
There you go. I'm gonna help him.
John's too young to be a FUD. He's still a hipster over there,
Mm-hmm.
He's a CZ hipster.
I don't know. He was liking that lever 9mm contraption.
Who doesn't like a lever action AR style 9mm lever gun? Like I don't care who you are. That's badass. Even I like that.
I guess, but it's gotta admit, it's a little fuddish.
I mean, only you liked it. I loved it, but then the amount of hate comments just It was bad, dude.
Oh, I can imagine.
It was so bad.
People have no
it's like
imagination.
you're going to get
and
hate
they
from
don't.
all sides. You're going to get hate from the tactical side. You're going to get hate from the FUD side. Like, you've got no
People-
shot except for everyone will secretly buy it.
What?
Like, it's the biggest closet thing in the world. Everyone's going to own one, but everyone's going to talk smack about it, you know?
Yeah.
I love it, but for $2,000, like,
Well, that's a whole issue.
That's my
It's a whole
problem
different-
right there.
yeah.
I was like, super cool, but when POF was doing it, I was like, it's gonna have a cool price tag too.
Yeah.
By the way, I do want to mention Chase is starting a new venture in life. We understand that not everybody is blessed to have a significant other, girlfriend, wife, whatever, boyfriend, if you will. Makes no difference. I want everyone to be happy. I need everyone to understand that happiness is a virtue, even for the FUDs. Chase has literally started a website. Yes, there is an official.com and an Instagram. It is called fudsonly.com. You don't have to be lonely with fudsonly.com. And that is a real thing, by the way.
This is what happens when we have silly conversations. Is I started
That was a phone
domains.
conversation that went dramatically the wrong way, and he ended up buying fudsonly.com and starting an Instagram page. That's how bad our phone conversations get sometimes.
Making fun of other people turned into making fun of Clover, turned into me.
But all of our conversations turn into making fun of Clover, especially when he's on the phone call with us. That's what it is.
100%.
True story. All right.
So I'm gonna make him my poster child of the website.
I got the glamour shots, baby.
The glam
Let's do
shot.
it.
He's got the glam shot for sure. All right. Let's move on. You guys know that every Thursday, Saturday, Monday, we have our Ghost Tactical polls over on the community tab on YouTube. We have a lot of fun with them. We ask different questions. We have some fun. Like I said, it's not all about gun stuff. We asked all sorts of weird stuff. So let's dive into this week's. Last Thursday, over 2,000 votes already. Of these, which is the best movie character? Of these, Doc Holliday in Tombstone, Hannibal Lecter, Jack Sparrow, for most of you that don't understand, that is the Pirates of the Caribbean. That's Johnny Depp's character in Pirates of the Caribbean, Jack Sparrow, or the Joker. Now, I went with the Heath Ledger Joker. I'd be okay with either because I think that Joaquin Phoenix did a phenomenal job with that. But I think Heath Ledger's Joker was like the perfect rendition because you almost felt bad like to hate the guy because he did such a great job. But let's start with Kyle. Of those four, Doc Holliday, Hannibal Lecter, Jack Sparrow, or Joker, who's the best movie character of those?
I think it's Doc Holliday, hands down.
The fact that he not only did he not win an Oscar, Val Kilmer didn't even get nominated for an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor with Doc Holliday. My opinion, hands down, his best role he ever pulled off. That's just me, though. I don't know. Yeah, I tend to agree with you. John, what about you? Which one do you think? They're all good. I shouldn't say any
first
more
off,
bad.
you did the wrong Joker. You should have.
Are you talking Jack Nicholson?
Yes, you should have done Jack Nicholson because that's one of the best Jokers. But the most quoted movie in our industry is Say When, and I'm Your Huckleberry. So I gotta go with Doc Holliday. And I'm in Arizona, so I gotta go Doc Holliday.
True. And you're not too far from Tombstone.
No, it's like an hour and a half.
Yeah, I've been there a couple times. It's a cool little town. They have it set up. At least it was when I was there. They had kind of like, first of all, the OK Corral. If you've never been there, it's like a 10 by 10. Like how anybody missed in that gunfight because it's literally a 10 by 10 little space. It's tiny. Kind of crazy, but yeah, cool place. Clove. No FUDs on here, so I don't know like which way you're going to go with this one. I guess Doc Holliday carries a revolver. Is that way you're going?
Yeah, and shotguns. Come on, man, Doc Holliday. Yeah.
The fact is back then they wouldn't be considered FUD. They'd be tactical back then.
Now the Jack Nicholson Joker had the big long revolver. That was Smith & Wesson Model 15.
This is true.
With like a 3-foot barrel on it or something. Crazy like that. I don't remember how long that barrel was, but yeah, he had a FUD gun for sure.
Yeah. Chase, what about you? Who do you like?
I mean, I like a few of those personally.
Oh, they're all good. Yeah, they're all good.
Yeah, I mean, I do kind of enjoy Hannibal Lecter. We have many.
Hannibal Lecter is one of the creepiest characters ever created
creepy,
Anthony
but
Hopkins was fun. Like, I don't know if it was anybody but Anthony Hopkins would that role be the same. Like, I'm not so sure that movie would be the same if it wasn't for him. He was
I'm the same
creepy
way.
as hell.
Like he pulled that off
I'm
fantastically.
having a friend for dinner. I was like, oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, but of those, probably Doc
Yeah.
Holliday.
I great. It's just such a great role. It's such a great role. Such a great role. 2,000 votes. 34% of the people out there picked the right answer with Doc Holliday.
I'm
Followed
shocked.
Well, I tell you what, you're not going to be shocked, I don't think, except for maybe a little bit. In second place with 32% of the vote is Joker. I figured those probably might be the top two. One that really surprised me in third place with 23% was Jack Sparrow. I honestly thought that'd be in fourth place. That's just me. Hannibal Lecter comes in fourth with 11%. I figured that and Jack Sparrow might be flipped.
They didn't
A
want
lot of love for Johnny, maybe because Johnny Depp had such a big 2022. Like,
I think they probably just didn't want to tick off Amber Heard by not.
This is true
voting
too.
Oscar.
Yeah, this is
We
true.
We all know what happens when you make her mad. It's not pretty. It's not pretty.
G23 says in Oregon they have a Doc Holliday's gun shop. That might be the greatest gun shop name ever. Like, that'd be awesome. We have a guy that's in the sheriff. I don't know. Actually, I think he might have retired, but he was the sheriff like for 20 years in the county over, and his name was Pat Garrett. How the hell does a guy named Pat Garrett ever lose an election to be a sheriff? I'm just saying. I don't think, like, when he first started, I don't know if he had any like law enforcement background at all. But when you run for sheriff and your name is Pat Garrett from Billy, in case you're wondering, Pat Garrett supposedly killed Billy the Kid. But if you're running for sheriff and your name's Pat Garrett, that would be awesome. Like, just saying, that's the greatest sheriff's name ever. Unless you're called Doc Holliday. Definitely go with that one.
Talk about your poll real quick, though.
Huh?
Talk about your poll real quick in our conversations the other day that tie into this.
Yes, sir.
You'd be amazed at how many people I've ran into recently that have no clue what Silence of the Lambs is.
Really?
Seriously.
Well, I guess that's what in the 90s. Like, John's youngest. John's probably younger than Kyle. Do you know what Silence of the Lambs is, John?
I do. I don't remember watching it recently at all.
John looks like Precious.
Wow.
She puts the lotion in the bucket. Just saying. Go watch the movie, John. You're welcome.
Yeah, Precious is cute. Don't worry.
Precious. Oh boy. All right. Our second poll came out yesterday. It's already got 1.6 thousand votes. In a survivalist situation, like maybe something like, I'm not saying a zombie apocalypse or a Red Dawn, could be like a natural disaster. Just in a survivalist situation, which is the most important thing to figure out or find first? Shelter, a heat source, food and water, or tools? Let's start with Clover on this one. If those four and something, and you're having to survive for a few days, what's the most important thing to get first?
Yeah, maybe tools.
That's fair.
Maybe tools. I have a feeling to go shelter, but that kind of depends on the weather. I mean, with tools, I guess you could fashion something if you had some tools to do it with.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's true. That's true. Chase, what about you?
What were my options again? I'm sorry, my phone was breaking up.
Sure it was. I'm glad you could be here and present. Shelter, heat source, food and water. Food and water are one. Food and water or tools.
I feel like with tools, you can pretty much do everything else. Like with tools, I can find food, I can find a water source, I can make shelter. I'm probably running with tools.
Right on. John, what about you?
Well, the old adage is adage of three. So it's 3 hours without shelter, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food. So that would say I would probably need shelter first, but everyone's brought up a good point that tools would probably be the first need to get that shelter, unless you know how to fashion a TPS sticks or whatever you want to call this.
You don't necessarily need sticks. If you've got an extra jacket or a blanket, you can hook that up as a shelter. Just saying. But yeah, I hear what you're saying. Kyle, what about you? Shelter, heat source, food and water, or tools?
It's always a tough question, but I'm going to
It
go with
is.
food and water.
Food and water, yep.
Locate my source first and then build around that.
Yeah, and I like the way you said that, because if a question and the answer is just the first thing I go get is food and water, I tell people you're probably wrong. That can be later down the line. Once again, most people don't realize you can go days without water and weeks without food. It won't be fun, but you can do it. But you said identify sources. This is great. If you know, like where I'm at my house, like people say, like I'm going to hunker down or I'm going to leave, I'm going to flee. I'm hunkering down. I'm on top of a mountain, so I already have the high ground where my house is. I'm good. So, and I know that there's a 50-acre pond right out my property. I've got a stream coming down here, so water ain't a problem because I can have like a life straw or boil it. You can have a heat source. Food, I don't like fish, but damn it, if I gotta survive, I'm eating fish. It's what it is. Identifying the food and water sources are important, but it's not the first thing you should go get. And I'm glad the way you said that. You identified the sources, and then we can move on and find other things. So yeah, 1.6 thousand votes. Food and water is 53%, and I'm never going to tell people they're wrong, but they're wrong. I'm just saying that would be the logical choice. Like, that's why I put it in there, because I think that's where a lot of people will go. Obviously, over half the people went there. That's just something maybe you should start thinking about. Tools, I think you can go shelter and tools, 1A, 1B. They can be flip flopped. Once again, I like the idea that you can create shelter with the tools or whatever. Having shelter, whether I don't care if it's in the desert or not. Like, people don't realize, and John can attest to this, summertime in the desert can still get cold at night. Like, shelter with rain and the elements and all of that, shelter is important. Tools, you can do a lot of things with some. So they have the 550 paracord, but if you're ever out somewhere in an outdoor store and you find what they call survival cord, it's got like fishing line as part of the paracord inside of it. So that stuff's cool to get. You can get yourself a really good, multi-tool, maybe like a hatchet, a machete, or a big knife, and some paracord or whatever, and you can do a lot of things with that. So yeah, I'm not going to say 53% of the people say food and water, 40% say shelter, so 93% between those two. Heat source in third place with 4%, and tools come in last place at 2%. Very interesting. Very interesting. That's all I'm going to say.
I will say this. You brought up a good point. It was 70 degrees midday today. It's going to get down to 32 tonight.
There you go. And it's not like that's abnormal. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's totally normal. Like, we'll go out shooting and it'll be 100 and something by sunset, and by the time we get ready to pack up and it's dark, it's cold. It gets down pretty low.
I might have to change my answer. I think TJ might have hit it perfect. Bourbon's first. If you get drunk enough, then nothing else matters, right? I mean, that very well that might be the winner. That might break the matrix right there. If you get drunk enough, nothing else matters. It's all good. All right, our third and last poll question. Then we'll actually get on with this shit show. 2.3 thousand votes. What is your home defense weapon of choice? Obviously, many of us have different things, but if you could only have one you're going to set up, and that's going to be your primary function for that weapon system, would you take a handgun, whether it's revolver or pistol, a handgun, an AR, a shotgun, or a PCC? Like, it could be an AR, but we're talking like a pistol caliber carbine, or other people. If people like Clover want to run around with a lever action, hey, you got to go for it. But if someone wants to roll around with a 338 Lapua bolt action as their home defense gun, hey, go for it, bro. But we'll start with John on this one. If you could have one weapon of choice for home defense, what would you kind of roll with?
That's a hard question.
It is, because I ask only the tough questions.
I know, because normally the big adage, and if you talk to anybody who's trained, it's always you use your pistol to get to your rifle.
Correct.
And currently my pistol is my current home defense thing, but I also have a shotgun sitting somewhere. So shotgun's utilitarian, but the best one on the list is probably the PCC. Combination of low recoil, low flash, and easy to get back on target.
On top of that, you can share ammo and magazines typically with other handguns. So, I tell people all the time, if you can only get 2 weapons and you want to do a home defense 2-weapon, and I'm not saying this because I want people to go buy Glocks. I'm just saying most PCC lower, like 9mm carbine lowers, use Glock mags. So go get yourself like a Glock 19 or a Glock 17 and go load up on 9mm, because all that ammo and all of those mags, and by the way, Glock mags are historically like cheap. Like in comparison to every other brand of like proprietary magazines, you can get Glock mags for like $20, and there's also some aftermarkets you can probably get for less than that. But you can run the same magazine, you can run the same ammo through both those weapons, and yes, use your pistol to get to your long gun, all that. But yeah, no, I get it. And people, none of these are wrong. These are all great. These are all, you can utilize any of these. But I'm interested to hear what people want to do. Chase, let's go with you next.
I mean, like you said, none of those are a bad option. Personally, the one that's like literally sitting next to my bed at all times, like when I get to the house and whatever, it's a Shorty 300 Blackout with a can on it.
There you go.
So personally, that's what I'm running.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
I can do a little bit of everything with it.
I love the fact that you're probably even going to the fact that I'm going to run subsonic ammo with a can, so that inside the house it's going to be as quiet as possible and all of that, to where it's that the percussion's not going to freaking go nuts inside the house. I don't know if that's why you went with that or because you just like it, but that's an excellent idea.
Between kids, dog, trying not to destroy everybody's hearing, I'm running a heavy projectile, so I've got a lot of energy I'm dumping for something up close.
Yep.
But if it breaks out to be a bigger threat than I thought it was, I've got more ammunition, I've got more energy. I can get outside a door and take a shot at a little more distance if I need to. It's kind of
and that 300 Blackout is still going to be able to go strong at 300 yards if you had to,
Yeah.
Roughly. Yeah. Kyle, what about you? What are you running? I haven't feeling you're going to say AR-15.
Around the same lines as Chase. I'm going with the AR.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you going 223 or what kind of caliber are you rolling with that? If you had to
right now, it's a 223.
Nice. Shorty or rifle?
It's a short 10.5-inch barrel.
Okay.
Yep.
I've got it's one of those things where 10.5 and a 223 5.56 is a fun to shoot those at a 10.5-inch. Yeah, for sure. Clove, are you going with like some weird ass like FUD shit or what? What are you going with? He's probably going with claymores on it. He's probably going with claymores on it. Let's be real.
Going with a cannon, man. What are you talking about?
He's going with it. He's got a tank out in the front yard. He said, "Fuck them all."
I got the old ship mount cannons in every corner of the house. So yeah, that works. Yeah. No, man, I'll go shotgun. I'll go shotgun. That's
sure. Now, let me ask you this, because there might be someone watching out there that is thinking about this and maybe haven't thought about it. For home defense, okay?
Yeah.
What kind of what are you rolling with that? Are you going to roll like 12 gauge? You rolling 20, 28, 410? Are you going to roll like a self defense round? They are actual self defense shot.
No, that's a good question. I'm gonna go. 20-inch barrel. I'm gonna go pump action, and I go 12 simply because that's kind of what I've got, and it's like I'm not gonna buy anything else for 12. And my kids grew up; were able to handle it at 10, 12 years of age or something like that. So, not recoil sensitive with it or anything like that. So it wasn't like a huge deal. But 20 is a good option, especially if you're talking about younger people, older people, smaller framed people, that sort of thing. I don't have a problem with 20. Not at all.
Yeah, great comments out there, by the way. There's some great ones out there talking about it depends on the situation. And you're right. It depends on whether you live in a house, an apartment, a double wide, it makes no difference. All of those are going to bring different environmental things that you've got to, not environmental like EPA, but like your environment inside those dwellings that you're going to have to figure out. If you have a house, what kind of house is it? I mean, does it have brick on it that might stop some of the over penetration? All of that stuff comes into it. It goes back to the shotgun where everyone says, just the racking of a shotgun is going to scare people away. And let's be honest, for the most part, like if someone's in your house at 2 o'clock in the morning, they know they shouldn't be there, and they hear, chances are they're going to shit themselves a little bit and then decide whether they want to leave or not.
It depends on how cracked.
They also might be like tweaked out, and they don't even know what the hell's going on. So
yeah. And that's usually the case. I mean, for a lot of people, they got to worry about the dopies and the druggies and whatever, and so who knows?
Yeah.
But you've got the buckshot that comes after the, so it's all good.
Yeah, if the racking doesn't scare them, then the shot probably will.
Yeah, exactly.
Reason why I asked that is would there be a situation at all, Clover, or anyone? I'm going to open this up to anybody that might roll with a shotgun at home defense. Would there ever be a reason to use slugs inside the house?
Now, the whole point of a shotgun is multi-projectile. Like, I'm of the mind, and I got to feel that most human beings are the same way. I don't want to get shot with anything.
Yeah.
Pellet gun, BB gun, airsoft,
much less 100 of them.
Rubber band gun. Like, I don't want to get shot with anything, right?
Yeah.
So, even if I'm running buckshot and I get one pellet in somebody, let's be honest, right? Like, come on. Do you think that's not going to get their attention? Do you think that's not going to? I mean, come on.
Go ahead, John.
Well, I will say, like, slug, when we would go, out and camping at a cabin, slugs are great because that it may not be two-legged, it may be a bear.
Yeah,
and
for four-legged
slug.
Yeah, for four-legged,
just personally.
Yeah, no doubt.
You shoot a 12 gauge at a bear, chances are you just done pissed them off. Just saying.
Use the right kind of slug, and you would.
I'm not saying slug. I'm saying shot.
Oh, shot.
That's what I'm saying. If you're getting you done pissed them off, and you ain't gonna outrun the guy, you're not gonna outclimb the guy. You're done.
That happens. You don't even got to get up into bear. That happens with pigs, even.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we're talking about shot. You got buckshot, but there's a lot of people who use bird, and Dick Cheney proved that doesn't work.
Literally shot a dude in the face, and then had the other guy say, "It was my fault. I walked in front of him." That's when you know you're powerful, when you can shoot someone in the face and have them admit that it was their fault. That's power, folks. That is power. Yeah. For me, it's a PCC. Forever, I would have gone. I wanted a handgun, and I still have handguns, not only in that room, but then spread out throughout the house, just in case. I usually can't. You can't walk more than probably 20 feet or whatever without being somewhere in the house that you have access, which is kind of how I want it. But I've gone the last couple of years with a PCC, a 9mm, 5.5-inch 9mm AR that I love to death because you can sling it. You just throw it over your head, almost like a big 1-point sling, if you will. You can pick up stuff. You can shoot that thing with one hand. More importantly, CQB with a 5.5-inch AR pistol is phenomenal. Once again, we're rolling 9mm. We're rolling Glock mags, so you can go get yourself a 30-round Glock stick for nothing. We'll still run in your Glocks as well. I mean, so there's a lot of advantages. I'm telling people, I think if you're willing to take and it's still the PCC, especially for home defense, is still kind of a new thing. If you're out there looking for a new home defense weapon system, I'm not saying go buy one, but if you know someone that's got like a little shorty 9mm PCC, ask to shoot it. I think people will be pleasantly surprised on what they can get in PCCs these days, or AR pistols with 223. But I think a short barreled rifle, SBR, or pistol, I think that's the way of the future for home defense and truck guns and all of that. You can just get a lot more done with it. Just saying. That's just me. As far as the poll goes, 47% choose handgun. That's not surprising, because I think that handgun has been number one for a long, long time. That's what first people think is you can shoot it one-handed, you can have free, all sorts of stuff. So it doesn't surprise me. It also doesn't surprise me that second place was a shotgun at 27%. Third place was AR at 19%. And then tied for last at 3% was PCC and other. And so those are that. And I think a lot of them were like all of the above, or a lot of the comments were just like whatever's closest. And I get that. I totally get whatever's closest at 2:00 in the morning, but this is where I want people to start kind of thinking. I'm not saying live your life fearing that something's going to happen, but be prepared for the worst to happen. Set up a gun by your nightstand or by your bed or whoever. Have it set there. Have it dedicated, saying, look, I'm not going to be grabbing this. I'm not going to, I'm not going to carry this every day. This is going to be like, I know that it's going to be right here. Take it out about once a month to shoot it. Make sure you're still proficient with that gun, whatever. But start thinking about a plan and start thinking of having a dedicated weapon system, whatever it would be, whatever it is. Any of these are fine. Dedicated for home defense. And I think that I'd like to hear what people would say if they were to do that now. So those are our polls. Thank you so much for you guys. I love doing the polls. Probably my favorite, and unfortunately, my interviewing skills aren't very good because most of the comments I get or the polls are most people's favorite segment of the show, which means that I don't do a good enough job of actually talking or interviewing, because that should be the favorite part. But it is what it is. I think we have fun with the polls. It is what it is. So thanks for voting in those. We always have a lot of fun with those. Let's get talking SHOT Show. And next week is SHOT Show. We're going to start talking prep. I'm going to bring Kyle in. We've talked with Chase with EAA last week or 2 weeks, whatever it was, about that. We talked with John about prepping for SHOT. And Kyle, I want to bring you in and kind of talk about SHOT, but maybe in a different way. With the Kiger coming out this year, I'm sure you guys are having a lot of people wanting to maybe see that for the first time, or at least shoot it for the first time, maybe at range day or whatever. But I know you guys have a lot of other stuff. I don't know if you can talk about on air yet, but there are some plans for some really cool stuff coming from Anderson next year. When you've got such kind of a couple months ago, a big release of a product, and you've got several things coming down the line, does that make SHOT much different, a whole lot more different than in normal years when you're just you've got your normal stuff, but you haven't jumped into the firearm market yet as far as like a handgun and all that? Has this year been way different or what?
I got a feeling it's going to be, especially this year is going to be a big year for Anderson.
Yeah.
Even at SHOT, I can't say too much about it, but we do have a few new releases launching at SHOT. But like you said, the Kiger's got great reception. It's selling great. So I got a feeling the Kiger is going to attract a lot of people.
Yeah.
And we may have something new for the Kiger. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. Oh, you.
Just saying.
If you don't know now. No, I think that it's been pretty cool. I remember hearing some scuttlebutt. You released it like November? I want to say
November.
Yeah, I remember hearing some scuttlebutt about something coming down the line, but I was like, Anderson, really? I didn't expect it, And then it comes out, you're like, oh, snap it. It was true. We're talking 2 months now since the public release and all that. As far as the Kiger goes, are we talking about what you expected in sales or demand, or has it been better or worse? Or, 2 months into this, where do you guys stand to where you forecasted where it could be?
To be honest with you, it's a lot better than we expected.
Okay. That's awesome.
Yeah. With the Kiger and the name Anderson, you're going to get a lot of hate and, things like that with the poverty pony and all this. But the reception,
they call the
like
poverty
I said,
pistol. I'm sorry. I had to ask it. Do they call the poverty pistol?
Yeah, I've heard that.
I just figured someone, but no. Yeah, I guess that's something that's built in that you guys kind of understand. But I think that's probably one of the reasons why you did this. You're starting to expand that line to get away from the shtick of what people have thought Anderson was,
Yeah, and we like to play around with it a lot, but like you said, we'd like to get away from it, just because a lot of people take that seriously, and they're like, "I'm not touching that." People call that poverty, and it's just not true. So we'd like to get away from it.
No, the interesting thing is I would be willing to bet. I know that I've got 3 of them kind of sitting over here that I picked up a couple years ago when, like, during a Black Friday sale, like you guys had like the strip lows for like $25 a few years back, and I was like, oh snap, and I got 3 of them, haven't built them yet, but I would be willing to bet that the vast majority of people that have multiple ARs that they've built, whether they admit it or not, they probably all have at least one Anderson at home. They've got an Anderson lower at home. I don't care what the price is. The price could be what it is, but even at 25 or 35 or 40 or $50, if it doesn't work, then people aren't going to continue to buy. You'd be out of a job, but you guys are still rolling pretty good, so that says something about it. Yeah, TJ says, I've got 4 Anderson lowers and have never had an issue. There you go.
That's awesome.
Sometimes
you're – oh, sorry.
Go ahead, man.
And sometimes your Anderson might not – or a lower that comes from Anderson might not necessarily be marked Anderson. We do have
this is true. You do a lot of work for other companies. That's true. Yeah.
So
when it comes to shot, knowing that this is going to be or expecting this to be a much bigger year than the normal year of shot for you, have you all done anything differently to like upgrade booths or what have you all done that's like for actual shot, like being at shot, the booth or the appearance or whatever? What are some of the stuff that you guys have done differently than you have in years past?
So that's one of the big things that we did this year for SHOT is we actually revamped our whole booth. We took all the skin off of it. We now have Kiger photos, the AM10 Gen 2 photos up there.
Nice.
That was another launch from last year. And just different lifestyle shots, just kind of updated it. We're kind of worried that some of our pistol braces might need to come off there, but
I don't think so as of right now. I think you're going to be fine. That's me personally. I think it's going to be okay. I think between the stay that the circuit judge had a few weeks ago, right before the deadline, and then the bull. Well, I don't know. I don't think this has anything directly, but the Supreme Court or the Circuit Court, the Circuit Court overturning the ban on the oh my God, I just lost my head. Bump stock. I don't think that has anything directly to do with the pistol, but what I think that does is that's going to start holding the ATF a little more accountable to like actually getting stuff approved like they're supposed to before they start changing shit. And if they don't, at least a circuit court or the Supreme Court will sit there and say, look, no. So I'm not saying that it's going to happen. I do believe truly, this is not me being the optimist and all that. I just truly believe that this is not a bump stock where there's 100,000 of them maybe in the country. We're talking pistol braces that there's millions of.
Yeah.
The government should not be in the business of turning millions of its citizens into felons overnight. They shouldn't be in the business of doing that.
You're also talking about a very practical and necessary use rather than more. Let's be honest, a bump stock is a novelty.
It's a novelty, yeah. It's a novelty thing.
If you're a one-handed veteran, you don't require a bump stock, to shoot your pistol. So yeah.
Yeah, and I think having the medical field behind a lot of it, the disabled vets and the disabled community behind pistol braces is going to help. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm not wrong, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't see this happening in the end. I just don't. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But yeah, I hope so. So we're going to talk with I'm going to bring you back in and say, so SHOT Show for you guys, with new products coming down the line, getting ready because of the Kiger release, the AM10 release. You've had a big year. With SHOT Show coming down this line, how far in advance are you guys kind of preparing? Is it a year-round thing now almost for SHOT? Because it's not just SHOT. A couple weeks later, you've got the Great American Outdoor Show. I know you've got like distributor shows that are going on. Like the first 4 or 5 months of the year, it's got to be crazy. But like when it comes to SHOT specifically, like how far in advance do you guys start doing that stuff?
It starts almost immediately when you get back. And I was just talking to one of my buddies at work today about that. Is like we do year-round work, and we put so much money into this 3-day show. 4-day if you count range day.
Yeah.
You know, it's insane. But if you're not there, you're losing out. No offense to anybody that's not going to be there, but.
Well, so this is a question that a lot of Clover and I's brethren in the media realm may not want to hear this, but let's face the facts: the 2,500 media are not the stars of SHOT Show. It's the buyers, the distributors, the gun shops, and all. That's where you guys do. I know, Clover. Hey, don't you start with me, Clover. I don't care that you're offended.
Damn.
Yeah, but yeah, I think that's something from our point of view, as media trying to bring SHOT Show to the masses. A lot of media tend to forget that this is like of all the shows you guys do throughout the year. Like this is the one industry show that there is media, but this is like the business one. Like in RAM, you get the public in there and all that. This one is like do business. So my question to you is, and feel free to like basically talk shit about the media and offend us because it doesn't bother me or Clover. But when you're playing for SHOT Show, is your, how do I put this? Do you kind of start catering the booth and everything that you're getting ready for towards the buyers, or is the media a big part, being there a big part of what you guys set up for SHOT?
The way we look at media is it's a great way to get your name out there.
Yeah.
It's a great way to get publicity. We try to balance it. So like, for instance, our sales guys, they'll work all the business. Like we have an office in our booth. Yeah. So they can go in there and have their meeting.
That's a trend that's happened like the last 4 or 5 years. I think is awesome because quieter, I should say. But yeah, being able to sit down and talk. That's a great idea. A lot of companies are doing.
So I want to jump in real quick. When you're talking about that office space, what a lot of people don't realize, you're losing floor space and you're paying for that square footage. So whether you use it for office space or whatever. So are you guys, just curious, are you thinking about how big that office space needs to be because we're spending so much money for this and we don't want to take away from the other floor space? Was that something that was war gamed at all?
To be honest with you, we're going to keep our office space the same. It's not a very big office by any means. I think it's probably like 5 foot by 10 foot or something like that. It's very small.
You have to put some table chairs in and you can just relax.
A coffee table and 4 chairs is what goes in there.
Yeah. That's all you need. A little college fridge or something to have some soda, some drinks or water in or something.
I wish. We're not that spoiled. But no, back to your question. We definitely invite the media for sure.
Yeah.
It just all depends on if everybody's going to be at a meeting or not. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah. Now, as a company, because I know, like with Chase, like we're good buddies, but I also schedule an actual appointment. I don't want to like just roll up into the booth and see him when he's got distributors or other media there and all that. When it comes to media, do you prefer them to actually schedule an appointment? Obviously, not a lot of them are just going to roll in there and want to do an quick interview, but would you rather people schedule interviews at like slotted times so something's happening, or do you mind just the drop-ins?
I'd prefer the scheduling. And so far, I've actually had a lot of media reach out and schedule. So I think that's kind of starting to become a trend. So definitely prefer scheduling, though. The roll-up, sometimes you're not ready for that stuff, man.
Yeah.
And you're just like, I don't know what to do with my hands, you know?
Yeah. No, I hear you. Pockets are wonderful. There's a reason why we have pockets. But then like your hands in your pockets and like you like look like this weird person that arms are stuck, it's weird. Yeah, no. I tell you, the funny thing is there are a lot of, you find out who hasn't been in front of a camera like ever at SHOT Show, because like you can tell the people that are like roll, hey, come on over here, let's jump in, and they start rolling. They've been doing this for a while, and then you see like maybe the first year kids out of school that might be their first shot, and they have to get in front of that camera to do like their their elevator speech, and they're just like, oh, and they start mumbling like, oh yeah, we got ourselves a newbie. Those are fun. I want to ask you this, because a lot of companies are using about the office, and a lot of people are starting to go with the offices. And I tell you what, a lot of people are starting to do in years past, they wouldn't bring like a media or even have like a media or social media person in the company. But now not only do they have a social media coordinator, they actually have them come to SHOT Show. And that's been a great thing for us, is when we roll into the booth, I don't necessarily have to talk to the salesman who might be busy doing business with a buyer. I roll up and say, hey, is your marketing or social media person around? And if they've got one, they're there. That's our business, and we can do that instead of pulling a salesman away from an important conversation. Is that something that you guys do or have thought about doing with actually having like a dedicated like social media person? Because I start seeing several of them happen the last couple of years.
Yeah, that's actually me at the SHOT Show. So
I know you're handling, but I didn't know if you're going to be involved with like the business side, or you're there for like handling that right there.
Yep, pretty much
okay,
like a public affairs role. Yeah.
Okay, so like when people roll up, so people are asking, hey, don't you need contact? Like literally, they can walk up and say, can I see Kyle? That's okay, because even though people are the marketing or media person, they're still involved with. They need sometimes to be in those meetings and all of that. So I didn't know if that's. I'm sure you're going to be involved with that meeting, but it is nice to hear. Is that something that you start seeing a lot of companies do? Is like I've seen it, but I don't know if you've seen it or not. Chase it, and John, Clover, have you guys? I've noticed a big push the last couple 3 years of actually having like social media directors, which was kind of weird 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
It to me, it's almost becoming so necessary. Social media is just. It's huge. It's bigger than anybody ever expected. So,
well, it's almost free advertising. It's almost free advertising where you guys are paying. Still to this day, even if you are going to get into a magazine like NRA or Recoil, I mean, those are some huge dollars spent to get into some of those magazines where the social media side is damn near free advertising, which I think has to balance it out, right?
I don't know about free necessarily, but I would.
I'm just saying the idea of it, where you're not paying
I get
$100,000 for a spread in Recoil or whatever.
But I think there's another perk to it, and I've been interested to get Kyle's take on this too. I think there's another perk to the whole social media, whatever it be, YouTube, the platform, right? Stuff, not the legacy media, is you put that article in Recoil, and there's a certain type of people that read Recoil, right? But with working with various creators, look at all the different demographics you hit.
Yeah.
Look at all the different uses of, your products is being used in all these different sectors of the community or whatever. And it seems like that's a great benefit at a lower cost. I agree with you, Ghost, at a lower cost.
Yeah.
You get a more diversified media effect at a cheaper cost with it.
Yeah, 100%. Like the cost, when you say free advertising, nothing's ever free, obviously. But I think in comparison, some of the print magazines, I know some of these things are charging like just crazy numbers, and you're like, man, like, are people still reading magazines? Like, I don't know, but I still see Recoil at the grocery store, I guess. So people still are buying them. I guess it's weird to still see the print media. Man, like I'm glad they're still doing it, but damn,
I would say print media, because we still use some print media as well, but you can see the print media offerings have drastically slimmed back down post-COVID. Like
Oh, really?
It stopped a lot. It's a lot of the offshoot magazines and all that. Your Recoil, your Guns and Ammo, American Handgunner, that stuff's still
No,
around.
obviously, yeah, and also they have an online version also. So I'm not just literally saying it's the magazine, but it's still a magazine online.
Yeah, I personally believe the days of print media, or like any print media of any kind, are numbered.
Really? Okay, that's interesting.
It's just
Is that because people like videos and the 15-second reels or TikToks and all that,
people are fast
or just
clicking
people hate
that.
reading almost? I think people just hate like reading anymore.
I think it's just a societal shift away from traditional print media. I mean, most people don't read actual books anymore. They use Audible or whatever.
Yep.
They consume YouTube, they consume Instagram and TikTok shorts, whatever. That's the way consumers are now. It's social media driven, it's technology driven.
Yeah.
More and more people aren't picking up a physical book or a physical magazine anymore.
Yeah. Now, Kyle, I want to bring you back in and kind of start. I want to kind of do this. Being a marketing and social media guy for a big company, as far as like the wideness of your reach and all of that, especially in the day of instant media. How is being able to basically have a marketing launch instantly when the Kiger came out, instead of having to wait for the magazines to come out and all that, you can literally go on Instagram or YouTube or whatever and instantly launch a product? Has that changed the game as far as how you go about? Because obviously that has to go included in with the timeline of releasing a gun. Now it's all right. Do we go a week ahead of time? Do we start putting stuff out a month ahead of time? Is it a day ahead of time? Like, how does that decision, when you start launching, being able to launch instantly, how does that change the game a little bit?
I think it makes you more flexible.
Okay. Yeah.
The reason I say that is because you don't have to front load magazines like, hey, this is coming and we got to meet this deadline.
And it's going to get out eventually,
Right. So now it's kind of like we have a little bit more flexibility in deadlines. And I don't know if you work with any engineers, but they're never on time with anything. So it definitely makes you more flexible, in my opinion. Than having to wait for like magazines to run prints, or hey, it's not going to run till next week.
I think engineers are almost too smart for their own good.
I agree.
Like they see the world in a much weirder way than most people do, and I think they're almost too smart for their own good. Like their idea is like, they can't do this without me, so I'll just take my time. Like, what are they going to do? They can't release this without me fixing the problems.
They're not wrong.
They're not wrong. That's the problem, is they're not wrong. They know that.
So, but yeah, I think it makes us more flexible.
Do you like that where you can instantly release something? I mean, to the masses, even if it's at 3:00 in the morning. I mean, sometimes people are up at 3 in the morning.
I do. I would hate to sit there and like wait for a week for something to print out, like knowing, I don't know. I feel like the anticipation, your nerves get all built up. Like, let's just get it over with and just slam it.
Yeah. Well, and you're also able to control that media buy. If you want, you can control that leak. If you want, you can control everything goes on because it's yours. You're not designing something and then saying, here, put this out there for me. It's you guys are putting it out there. So we know that if something's being put out there, that's not from what you hear from XYZ person. This is directly from the company. So that's what I'm taking to the bank,
Yes. Yeah.
John, you were going to say something. Go ahead, man.
Well, if you also notice with the advent of social media and YouTube and stuff, we're seeing more launches pre-SHOT Show. We're seeing more launches 100%. In the middle of the year. It used to be like it was NRA, SHOT Show. Those were the launch dates. Now it's spread out across the year, so you're getting new product out. You don't have to hold it for 6 months anymore.
Yeah. That's an interesting thing because I have that down on my list to talk to you about. And I know we talked a little bit about it last time, but now that we're right up against SHOT, was the release or the timing of the release of the Krieger was that planned to be within a couple months of SHOT, or is it more that's when the gun was ready or whatever? Is the timing of the release in comparison to SHOT or an NRAM, does that have something to play with the timing of the release?
This kind of plays into what I was talking about earlier with the engineers. So,
Okay.
And now that it's over with, we can laugh about it. But the original launch date was 4th of July.
Oh, really? Okay, cool.
You see, November is when it actually happens.
It's a
Wow.
It's only 4 or 5 months later. It's not a big deal. Come on.
Yeah.
What's the problem?
So, yep, engineers. So that one just happens. That sometimes a launch just happens.
Yeah,
and that's that.
So,
but it's nice being close to SHOT Show. It really is.
I think there's probably also a reason why SHOT Show is in January. I mean, I think that's a pretty. It's not just a random date that's when the Sands was available. I think that was a very structured, that was the date that they were searching for years and years ago. They said, January might be the best time. It's coming right after the holiday season, blah, 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 blah. It's not summertime, this, that, and the other. So this is going to be for you, Kyle, and for Chase, because he works with the gun company as well. And I want with EAA, and I want to bring you guys in. When you guys, because I know both y'all have releases that are happening at SHOT, like the announcements, the reveal of some of these products are going to be at SHOT Show. How hard is it to wait if that thing's ready to go in November, December? How hard is it for you to wait until SHOT Show to get that stuff ready, or is that the plan? Is, hey, we're going to do it at SHOT Show because we want the industry to see it first? I mean, is that kind of the idea, or how do y'all decide what get released at SHOT and what gets released mid-year? Is it literally when the engineers are done with this stuff and you can get them out, or is there actually time you want to wait and hold stuff off till SHOT? This is for you and for Chase, but you go ahead and start first, Kyle.
No, I mean, it's very strategic. Now, things like the Kiger, the holdups, that stuff does tend to happen.
It happens.
But it's very hard to sit on it. Like, I want to tell my friends, like I'm talking on the phone and what'd you do?
I can't see that.
Yeah. I can't really tell you, buddy, but it's something really cool and you'll see it. That stuff that's tough to do. But it makes it all worth it though. Yeah. It's just a big build up, and it really is tough because you want to tell all your friends and all the people about it, but just hold on to it and do it on the biggest gun show of the year.
Well, and on top of that, you're also, I mean, that probably adds a lot of pressure to SHOT Show when it's not just, hey, we've tweaked our lowers a little bit, we got a little better, parts, this, that, and the other, but we're coming out with stuff that no one thought we'd ever come out with, and now it's time. Like that's a lot of pressure on SHOT Show to make sure that we get the message out that we want to get out. It
really is. It really is.
Chase, want to bring you in for a second and let you talk a little bit about when you guys are going to be releasing different stuff. How much does the timing of SHOT Show play into the release dates, or is it just when the gun's ready to go?
I mean, it's both. I would say, like for us, it's both. I mean, we do some things that are more strategic releases, like around a SHOT Show or an NRAM or something like that. But we've been doing a lot of different variants and versions and updates and whatever. Basically, when those things are ready, we're rolling them out. Like
the base model might be at SHOT Show or NRAM, but the different variants are going to roll out when they're ready to go.
Yeah, like everybody saw the P35, the high power clone at SHOT last year. Now we've got you got 3 standard guns, you've got ops, you got matches, you've got optics ready. I mean, there's all that stuff, and you'll see the new stuff next week. There's new toys coming, and there's stuff in the works. That like Kyle was saying earlier that I would like to talk about. I'd like to tell my buddies that kind of stuff, but that's all the stuff that's under wraps still. That's coming shortly.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that's the more strategic.
Yeah, and that actually kind of makes sense. Is release the model at SHOT or NRAM, and then spend the rest of the year doing the different variants and all of that stuff. That's kind of actually a pretty smart idea. Yeah, it's interesting. Clove, you got any questions right now for Kyle when it comes to Anderson or SHOT or anything like that?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay. Now a lot of people are talking about when it comes down to SHOT, we're talking range day, and how important, especially now with the Kiger out there, that maybe the vast majority of people haven't actually held one and shot one, and maybe some of the stuff coming out. How important, Chase and Kyle, I want to ask Kyle first, is range day actually having that working model that people can pull triggers and let ammo fly down some range? Is range day almost equally as important or more important than the actual week, or is it still the redhead stepchild of the step brother of SHOT Show?
Trey, I'm gonna have to defer to Chase on this one, as Anderson is skipping range day.
You are skipping range day. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So Chase, I'm gonna bring you in, and I know that you guys you're gonna be at range day, but is that something that is that you look as an important part of SHOT, or is it just like we have to do this because people want to pull triggers? But I mean, how important is range day for you guys?
No, I mean, range day is an important day. It's part of the SHOT experience. You're going to get a ton of media. You're going to get, some buyers will have their chance to get out there and have an opportunity on some of that. And it definitely helps having everybody have a chance to put it in their hands, actually get some trigger time on it. Obviously, you're not going to get the traffic at range day that you do at the actual show.
Yeah.
And, media can take more time with the product or with you at the actual show. So the show's the draw. Range day is icing on the cake.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I get that. I think that the expense for range day, that'd be interesting to kind of look at the expense, not just the booth, but how much ammo that you're gonna have to bring for range
cheap,
day.
Man. What are you talking about? Range day is
yeah,
so cheap.
Exactly. Yeah,
I mean, John knows all about how much cheap ammo is.
He's trying not to smile there. He's hiding behind his microphone. No,
everybody shoot it all up. It's cool. Don't worry about it.
That's a fair point. But I do think that I don't think people understand the expense as a whole that SHOT Show brings to the company. You're talking square footage, and it's not cheap. And they don't charge for a booth; they charge per square feet. You can get as big as of an area as you want, but you're paying X amount of dollars per foot. And I believe, from what I understand from talking to different people, like electricity's extra. Like anything that's like the floor is X amount of dollars. Anything else added to it is extra. Obviously, range days extra. So that has to play a role into deciding what you are going to do, what you can do for SHOT. And Kyle, you were talking earlier, you guys kind of revamped your booth. Obviously, that's taken quite a bit of financial support, and hey, we're going to do this for y'all to do that. How important is there's a lot of companies that aren't going to be going to SHOT probably ever again. Is SHOT something that's important to you guys, that you see you guys at SHOT for the near future, or is it ever come into play? Is SHOT worth it? Because I know that a lot of companies said it's just not worth it at this point.
That's a tough question. I can't predict the future. As it stands right now for Anderson, it's the most important show of the year for us.
Yeah.
Now, moving forward, I'm fairly new to SHOT Show. So you guys said last year was the worst year. Hopefully this year
was 100% is the best. It was the best SHOT Show ever. We saved that because we don't want people to come back. Like we liked it. We liked it last year. I could, instead of having like 4 or 5 minutes to talk with you, Kyle, I was having 45 minutes to an hour to talk with people and actually have conversations, because there weren't as many people there that were the people that were there were the dedicated ones. They're actually trying to get work done, and we're trying to make a difference. And a lot of the fluff was gone. So for me and Clover, I think most of the people that were there last year from the media side. Now it's different from the manufacturer side because a lot of the distributors and buyers weren't there as well. So that probably maybe hurt some of that. But as far as I'm concerned, there will never be another SHOT Show like there was in 2022. That's just me. And we say it was terrible because we don't want anyone to come back. We want them to think it was horrible and SHOT Show's dead. Don't ever come back. It's not worth it.
I hear you.
But no, I've also heard from the manufacturer and the company side that it wasn't a great one because there were a lot of buyers and distributors and all that didn't come either. So that might have hurt some stuff.
It depends on the size of some of those companies that was there too, because some of the smaller ones, well, I'm going to take that back and just say it really doesn't even have to do with size. But I heard from a lot of companies that the problem was like the whole cough, you may have to wear a mask, whatever the case may be, right? The lackluster, lackadaisy people tended to stay away from SHOT Show. Yep. And they said while attendance was down, the quality
was 100%.
Were still there. So their quality buyers, their quality distributors, things like that were still there, and they were still able to get business done. Like the tire kickers was the ones that didn't show up.
Well, yeah, and it's not mentioned the tire kickers out there. And I think a lot of it also has to play in is if a distributor, a big distributor is there, and like Ruger and SIG and some of these companies weren't there last year and they're not coming back. But if you're a distributor, you feel like you have to go check out Ruger's line. You have to go check out SIG's line. You have to go. Now some of these bigger companies that decide that SHOT's not worth it to them, well, some of these other companies that may have always been overlooked by the distributors or the buyers because they didn't have time to go to every booth, maybe they're starting to get some love now and they're starting to get some attention. Say, oh man, I'm kind of glad SIG was here because I never would have found XYZ company. That's a kind of a cool thing to think about as well. I don't know if that's played into it or not. Anyways, going back to that. So you see Anderson kind of being at SHOT for a while. It's an important thing. Chase, as far as EAA goes, have y'all talked about not going to SHOT? Because I mean, the first, especially for you guys, like the first 2 or 3 months is like crazy for you guys.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure Kyle's the same way. Like the first couple months of the year, especially, it's real busy because you've got several distributor shows, you've got buy group show, SHOT Show, Great American, and then you turn around and NRAM's in April. So, yeah, I mean, it's back to back, and then you get a little bit of a break, and then it's bam, here it is again.
But once NRAM's gone there in April, you've got at least maybe a little bit of time to relax, don't you?
Yeah, a little bit of time until August, and then you got all the buy group shows are right there again. So and then you literally get a couple months reprieve, and you're back to the start of the year again. Here you go.
So Kyle, I'm assuming you guys go to the buy groups as well, some of those shows as well. Is that a big deal for you guys?
It is. We don't send the whole team. We'll send smaller teams to those, but no, they're definitely a big deal. That's where we get a lot of our business from, especially the manufacturer.
Yeah, that's kind of the cool thing that I think that I would say the vast majority of not just media, just the general public don't understand that there's these buy groups out there. There's these distributor shows. They think NRAM SHOT Show and that's all you guys do for the rest of the year. It's like, actually, there's a lot more that y'all don't know about.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know.
I think Kyle can speak to it too, is you see the average, a lot of people don't understand that SHOT Show is not the really big debut for all the big distributors. That's in the SGW in October.
Right. Yeah.
So they all see it before SHOT Show even happens. For the most part, they see the most of the new stuff, and they get to see a prototype or something like that. Then SHOT, everybody sees it, but people don't understand. The vast majority of the business are done in either the buy group shows or in the SGW. SHOT's just it's a show off to the world kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. So let me ask you this, kind of going into that direction, and I'll start with Kyle on this one. As far as from your side, the social media, the marketing side, getting ready for SHOT, for someone that goes to SHOT and we see all of, it's Vegas, so you see all the lights and the flat screens and all the stuff in these booths. It's kind of like a Vegas within Vegas. But people, you're talking about patches, swag, digital marketing, paper, marketing, all the stuff that goes into SHOT Show, it comes into the marketing side and social media. Like, what's one of the cool things that you guys are doing this year? Maybe you can preview. You don't have to get into details, but like as far as maybe a swag or some media stuff, or like when I'm saying media, not like for like us media, but patches or some cool, like there's always some got like a laser show inside their booth or whatever. Like, is there something that y'all are doing this year that you're doing brand like never happened, that you guys have never done before, that you're a little nervous about or excited about, I guess?
I hate to disappoint on this one, but we don't have any type of swag.
Okay.
We got a bunch of like brochures, stickers. We got the patches, but we've always had those. I did try to get like little mints, the little tin can mints with Anderson, but I got shot down. I couldn't believe it.
Well, for the amount of mints that you would have to order for a shot, that probably money could be spent a lot better than buying mints.
This is true.
You can always go to Walmart the night before and grab a big old thing of peppermints and just throw them at the. So it'd be a hell of a lot cheaper to do that than it was buying tins of mints. I'm just saying.
What Kyle's not saying is, I'll say for him, is he's asking for the people talking to us. It's like, hey bro, take a second, have a tic tac. I'm just saying.
Chase knows.
No. I get it. I get it. There are three different things, and I'm not a germaphobe in the sense of like, I'm a germaphobe when like just being around nasty stuff. Like I just don't want to be around nasty stuff. But I'm not the guy that's gonna go like shake hands with someone and immediately clean my hands off because I don't want to get the crud. I'm not that guy. But at SHOT Show, there are three things that I have on me at all times. I will have at all times. I will have some kind of gum, because the worst place in the world is getting dry mouth and trying to do an interview with dry mouth. Gum / peppermints, like something that I could like on the way to interview, I'll choose some gum, throw some peppermints. One, so my breath doesn't smell like ass, but two, like having dry mouth before doing an interview is not fun. So having like gum or peppermint, having a bottle of water, because people don't realize how much people walk at SHOT. You're going to get dehydrated. I don't care. And the third one, it sounds crazy, is I'll have some of that little hand sanitizer, because when you're around 60, 70,000 people, like you're going to be shaking hands with people. You're going to be like giving everybody hugs and all that. Every now and then, like the SHOT Show crud's a thing. It's real. I started taking vitamins, a while back, getting ready, trying to get my immune system doing. But I mean, it's one of those things. Yeah, carry a cigar case, a flask, and a backpack pizza. That's true. And that's actually true from TJ. He does carry all those things at any given time. TJ's everybody's hero. TJ, the great thing about TJ, the biggest thing that he brings to SHOT, at least for us, that we have like, I don't know, 15, 20 guys, or like, we're not going together, but we're all like good friends. And we're like we'll be this big group text message. Every day, TJ is in charge of letting us know where the booth beer is. And he's phenomenal. We'll have like, hey, booth beer at 3:00, boom, booth so-and-so, booth so-and-so, booth so-and-so at 4:00, booth so-and-so, booth. So if we're ever wanting any booth beer, like TJ is the man. He is the vice president of food and beverage. He's very good at it.
What I want to know is, why is everybody being lightweight and doing booth beer? They've obviously not seen our setup.
You're going to do booth shots? Is that what you're saying?
You weren't an NRA. You didn't get to have the fun.
I was not an NRA, no.
I had a full bar.
Because someone decided to put NRA on freaking Memorial Day weekend. Just saying.
I know. I had to rub that in.
Yeah, fuck you. Yeah. No. But no, TJ does. Cigar case, flask, and backpack pizza are the three staples that he carries with you. Do you guys, I'll bring this for John, because John has been a SHOT on multiple sides of the camera, if you will. John, Kyle, or Chase, what are some of the things that you guys always will have in the booth to make sure that you're prepared for the week?
Nicotine, caffeine, and hate.
So let me ask you this, because I found this, and Clover will back me up 100%. Some of the best deals and conversation I've had at SHOT is outside smoking. Like with the main, like, hey man, let's get out of the booth for 10 minutes. Let's go smoke a cigarette and we'll talk.
Yeah.
Like some of the best conversations at SHOT Show are out smoking. Just saying. There are people I think that don't smoke that will go outside just to have those great conversations to the beer garden or whatever. It's great area, great atmosphere to get away from the noise sometimes. But yeah, I hear you. Kyle, what are some of the things that you guys have made sure getting ready to go to SHOT that, hey, make sure everyone's got this, or you might want to bring this with you. Besides comfortable shoes, that's a must as well.
Yeah. No, John couldn't have said it more correct. It's nicotine and caffeine.
Yeah.
Those are the two necessities of life.
So are you a smoker in general?
I'm vaping now.
You're vaping. Okay. So you'll understand when I talk about some of the best conversations you'll have will be outside even vaping. I'm telling you, outside, either downstairs by the dungeon or in the beer garden. Like, I can't tell you the best conversations we've had have been outside in the smoking section. Everyone's relaxed for a second. Everyone's dropped the curtain a little bit. They're glad to be out of the booth or whatever. And like, okay, now it's just bullshit, like person to person,
It's like the smoke pit in the Marine Corps.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. How important is taking a break? So is this going to be your first shot or your second shot, Kyle?
This is going to be my first.
Okay, so Chase, John, coming from experience in booths, any advice that you can have to Kyle to keep him sane throughout next week?
I mean, he's got caffeine and nicotine down.
So
I'm a big believer in caffeine and hate. Like that sustains me.
But that sustains you 365. You're a caffeine junkie. Let's just be honest.
Yeah, I'm 100% addicted to caffeine.
And we actually had this conversation today, as a matter of fact.
We did. But I mean, honestly, taking a couple minutes, a quick breather, get somebody to watch your stuff, take a lap, whatever. You need a few minutes of like me time or just to get out of the booth for sure. I mean, we always bring like water and some snacks, Gatorades, that kind of stuff. We leave it in the booth. We've always got that. I chew gum like a fiend personally, so I've always got gum on me.
I would say like an industry show is like, okay, so I know in a social setting, especially when you're doing business, like having gum or peppermint is kind of like frowned down upon. Like that's just rude. You shouldn't have a conversation with someone. I'm thinking it's something like an industry show or a convention. It's almost a necessity to have gum or peppermints. Like no one's caring if you're having a conversation with someone's chewing gum. It's like, dude, get a piece. So that's just one of those things where it's gonna be different. It's gonna be different. Snob says Chase has caffeine, hate, and Clover jokes to get him by. This is true.
That's a true story.
Everyone's got Clover drinks.
I'm glad
Clover
I'm
jokes.
a benefit to somebody. That's all I can
Well, I'm just glad you bring someone to the table. Let's just be honest. Because other than that, there is no reason for you to be at SHOT.
That's
like
you
don't. You stand you stay in the media room all day. All you're doing is eating Cheerios and Fruit Loops all day. That's just all you do.
Let's be honest. SHOT is so beneath me at this point. Everybody knows.
Wow. Yeah.
He's standing on top of the coffee table these days.
Yeah. John, you got any tips or pro tips, if you will, to help Kyle out this year for the first time?
Airborne gum.
Yeah, Airborne's good.
Yeah. Hand sanitizer, lots of hand sanitizer, and make sure that you get some sleep or try to get some sleep. You will go out and you will not realize that it is 2 a.m. and you have to be back at the show floor at 7.
And by Friday, you'll see this, bro. Tuesday, everyone as fired up as they can be for SHOT. Okay, I'm throwing a caveat there. As fired up as they can be for SHOT. Like everyone's all right. Here we go. First day. Wednesday. All right, man. We're doing good. We're doing Thursday. Hey, we're busy today. Friday, no one gives a fuck. Like you'll literally see people that have been wearing 3-piece suits all week or like jeans and t-shirt. Like, you know what, dude? We went to parties Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and Thursday night, and it's 9 o'clock on Friday. No.
You'll see the March of the Zombies.
It is hilarious. Like, not only the March of the Zombies, like the walk of shames are real Friday morning. Just saying, they are real. And getting those and just seeing people like, oh, I know what you did last night. It's funny. It's funny. Yeah.
The other thing you need to bring with you is an extra bag. And the only reason why I say this is because you're going to walk to all these booths on Friday, get a bunch of free swag, and give it out to the guys running machines, and they will love you and will do whatever you want.
That's a great pro tip right there.
Yeah, good call. I will do that.
Because
I never thought about that, but yeah, because I never see that side of shot. But yeah, that's a hell of a call.
They don't get to go, and if you pack up a couple bags full of stickers and stuff, and nobody wants to take the stuff back with them either, so
right?
Just start handing stuff out to you. Fill up some of the Dylan blue bags with a bunch of stuff, and you just go into the break room and go, "Here you go, guys. Here's all this stuff. We want to thank you for doing what you do," and drop it off and walk away.
Absolutely,
dude, they would love that too. That's awesome.
A pro tip, like exactly what John's saying, is go by the Magpul booth about 3:00 on Friday and just open your arms, and they'll just literally
give you everything they have. Yes,
they don't want. Yeah, it's there's a bunch of companies that way.
Glock's the same way as far as like stickers and pins and all that. I think Clover a couple years ago went up by the Glock booth on Friday and asked for some stickers. They gave him like a literal box of stickers and stuff. Like, here, take it all.
I could have got a case at PSA on a Friday. I forgot what year it was. I went by there. And I did. I got like a package of 100 patches, but I literally could have got like a big, huge bag with like 500 or 600 patches. They wanted me to take it, and I'm like, I don't need all of those.
High Point gave me 3 sleeves of hats that I ended up giving up.
Yeah. I mean, they don't want to take it back with them. I will say this, and there's a little text group chat for us smokers. Definitely put you in on that text chat, Kyle.
That's what I was gonna say. He needs a smoke chat.
He needs a smoke chat. So we'll say, hey, and I'm at the dungeon. Who's up for a smoke in 5 or 10 minutes? Or hey, going to the beer garden. We're up in the upper level in the beer garden. Who's ready for a smoke chat? And whoever shows up. You know, and it's one of those things. I was like, you know what? Usually there's several people like, you know what? Good call. But yeah, I think what they're saying is, I'll tell you this also is. I don't know if you want to or not, but you know, especially being your first time, if you're able to carve out some time to go see SHOT yourself, to go walk around and see other booths and go see what's out there. Not only just because it's kind of cool to see what's out there, but you also could look and see what people are doing and maybe some competition, what they're putting out. Or you might get some ideas for later projects by seeing someone else's stuff. But I would say enjoy SHOT. I did not enjoy SHOT for my first year. I booked like 27 appointments because I thought that's what you did. And I was literally booking appointments 15 minutes apart. One was in the dungeon and one was at the main level. And I was like, oh my God, like I had no idea. So I got on the flight at the end of the week and I literally said, I didn't see SHOT. And the only thing I saw was my map trying to get from booth to booth for 4 days. And I was like, you know what? I didn't enjoy SHOT. So I've always made a plan to be busy and work, but allow yourself to enjoy SHOT because the energy, especially down in we call it the dungeon. It's the basement, whatever. But that's my favorite. I'll spend 75% of my time with SHOT down there. The energy down there is amazing. Like you could go in Tuesday morning, first thing, and within 15 minutes, you're going to know if this is going to be a good shot or not, just by the energy down there. And allow yourself to enjoy SHOT. Walk around, and you have manufacturers that you like. Take 10 minutes and go visit them and see what they got coming out. Be a fanboy a little bit too, because if you kind of just make it all about work, you're going to get done at the end of the week, and it's gonna be like, damn, like wow. But yeah, being able to go and look at stuff and enjoy SHOT as a consumer as well, I would say definitely do that. John, what's up? You got something to say?
The other thing is great for your side of the business is go out and talk to some companies for giveaways and things like that. Make a friendship, make a relationship, and it's a good way to partner up with people that maybe not the same product as you, but it's, you know, go over to a Night Vision or somebody like that who does night sights, and you may not know you could make a deal and be able to throw things on products without even knowing that you could.
Yeah, that's a great point of being able to do collab work with other companies that maybe looking for someone they can't do it on their own. They need another horse, no pun intended, to jump into bed with them, and you guys are looking for a specific thing that they offer. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. The business that you guys can do with other companies at SHOT's probably huge as well, I would imagine. Yeah, a lot of good stuff about SHOT. Kyle, is there anything else you want to bring up about what Anderson is doing or about SHOT, or, since you're kind of the first year, probably not a whole lot you can ask me or Clover because we've never been in your shoes, but you've got John and Chase here that I brought in to kind of, they've been on the, they're on the industry side. They've been to booths at NRAM and SHOT, that they're here. I'm sure they can answer like some of the pro tips they've given you, but any questions or anything that you want to bring up about Anderson or SHOT Show right now, I'm going to give you a few minutes. Make sure people can, you can find out where they can find you, whether it's online or social media. Plug away at what you guys are doing at Anderson, because I think you guys are going to have a hell of a 2023.
Yeah, definitely. We do have a lot lined up for 2023. You guys can check everything out, AndersonManufacturing.com. We're on all the social media platforms, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, all that stuff. We are going to have some new launches, some new products with us at SHOT Show that will be launching Tuesday. So make sure you stop by the booth, 14752. As far as questions for John and Chase,
we can also ask them off there if you want.
I've been to NRAM. How would you guys compare NRAM to SHOT Show, other than location and all that?
It doesn't have the madness that NRAM has. Like, you don't have all the average, all the general public just constantly swarming you and being around
grabbing
everywhere.
stuff randomly. Yeah.
Oh my, yeah. It's none of that. Like, not every, you don't have like 9,000 boomer fuds with the exact same question over and over and over. So that's kind of nice.
You only got 2,500 in the media boomer fuds asking at SHOT
I mean,
Show.
there's plenty of people in the media are gonna ask all kind of questions. That's fine. It's just you actually get to, change up what you talk about every 30 seconds versus like NRA is the same thing over and over and over. It's just because it's a consumer show. It's a totally different
Chase.
vibe.
I'm forgetful. I'm sorry. I'm forgetful. I don't mean to do that.
He's 493 years old. He's a damn leprechaun. He forgets sometimes.
That's literally his people.
I ask him the same question 15 times a day, and now he gets butthurt over it. I know.
So bad. So Kyle, you're on the main floor Venetian side?
Correct.
All right, you lucked out then, so you're good. There's nothing wrong with the Caesar side. I was going to give you a pro tip if you were on the Caesar side, because everything on the Caesar side costs extra. So anybody that's listening that's going to SHOT is, if you're perusing the Caesar's forum side of everything, like if you want like a drink or a concession or whatever, all that stuff over there costs more than it does on the Venetian side. Just a tip.
Just a tip, man. Just a tip.
Always.
Yeah, I didn't know that. That's interesting. That's very interesting. So let me ask you guys, John, Chase, you guys made it over to the Caesar side last year at all? Did you have time to go over there and check it out?
Yeah. Caesar's has nicer bathrooms, I'll tell you that much right now.
They do have nicer bathrooms. Well, it's also newer. It's also much
Caesar's newer. Yeah.
And the way that they were, Caesar's was much more spread out because there weren't as many companies like back to back to back. So you could walk through Caesar's and all of that. But I didn't mind Caesar's. A lot of people said they hated it. I didn't mind it at all. I mean, a booth's a booth to me. Once you're inside the booth, you don't know where you are. You're at a booth,
So pro tip for the Venetian side too, and not so much, I guess, for the industry people, but anybody that might be attending or whatever. For bathrooms, if you go up a few floors to the floors that there's like nobody
don't tell
on,
people that.
Just saying, those bathrooms are cleaner.
Those are the number 2 floors, so if you've got to go, that's where you go. Just saying.
I can't believe you. I mean, seriously, like now everyone's going to be up there.
Well, since he spilled it, I mean, might as well tell everybody that's where the clean bathrooms are.
Just saying.
It's all good.
It's not all good now. Anyways, all right. Thanks for coming on, Kyle. Stick around. We can talk afterwards. But I want to say thanks for coming on. Can't wait to actually meet you in person next week. And Wednesday night, hope your liver's ready, man. We're gonna take you fun. We're gonna take. So by the way, Kyle's a Marine, so we have a party Wednesday night that he's gonna be indoctrinated to. So just saying, be ready. Just saying. John. Well, what's up, brother?
What's up?
SHOT Show for you in general. Always looking forward to it. Do you always hate it, or is it something you feel is like just a must, or is it something you actually look forward to in general?
It is something I look forward to every year. So yeah.
And there's a lot of people, and I get why a lot of people don't look, especially from the industry side, the manufacturer, the exhibitor side, when they say I just can't, I don't like SHOT. I get it. For me, being media, I don't have to worry about all the stuff that you guys do. It's the best week of the year. Like I literally, like once October rolls around, you can start registering and all of that. Like I'm in. Like I'm in full blown SHOT mode since October. I love it. Mandatory Care out there. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Appreciate you very much. Keep fighting always, brother. Always. Say hi to Fix for me. But yeah, SHOT Show for me is for so many reasons. Like one, you get to see all the new stuff. You get to meet new companies that you never knew existed before. And next thing you know, like you're friends with these companies and you get to watch them grow and blossom from like literally having everything that they have in their life invested into that 1 week of SHOT, hoping to God they get enough sales to stay open as a company, to maybe a couple years later, you see them like freaking running shit. It's awesome. I love trying to find the new companies that like, you're like, okay, like there's companies, I'm not going to lie, Kyle, you're going to be walking around going, not going to see them next year. And that's just the reality. Like, not going to see them again. May not even see them at NRAM. Just saying, and then you walk around and say, man, it's a small company, it's a young company, but like they got something. Like the products there, like the swag, like they've got the swag, like their mentality, like they've got whatever it is. That young company's got it. They could be big 5 years from now. Those are the kind of cool things you get to see as well. And obviously getting to see your friends you might get to see once or twice every year is fun to see and hang out and go to the. I'm sure you've heard of the Circle Bar. I'm sure you've been made well aware of the Circle Bar. If not, we'll discuss that after chat. But yeah, Chase, anything that you can make public since we're inside of a week? I'd love for you to make this the place that you can make public. No, I'm just kidding. I know you can't. I do know you got a bunch of stuff coming out, but anything that you want to talk a little bit about EAA or SHOT Show or anything right now? Go ahead and tell people where they can find you, what you got coming up.
I will say keep your eye on the socials here soon, as far as like something new or different, because there's definitely something coming before SHOT, and the people at SHOT will see it and have a chance to partake as well.
Oh, really? Interesting. Okay.
There might be something cool coming that people can help us out with. I'll put it that way.
Really?
Yeah.
Very interesting. Okay. All right. Clover, I mean, okay. I want to preface this by saying, if you were going to do something, what would that be? Like if you were going to do a podcast or if you were doing a video, like I know you don't do much. Yeah. If you were going to do something, what would that be?
Good Lord, before SHOT, not a whole lot, man. Right?
Okay. Yeah. All right. So let me ask you this then, because this is actually legit. That was just me bullshitting with you, know that. But so for SHOT, I do want to ask you, because I'm going to go through the line. Like, how do you plan on covering SHOT on a daily basis for your audience? Are you going to be doing a bunch of videos, or is it going to be, are videos going to be after the fact, or Instagram? So, where can people find your coverage next week?
So, first of all, just to back up, my goal is to get, and Chase knows exactly what I'm talking about. My goal is to get a video out this week. That way, there won't be a video drop next week, of course, but, we'll have all the SHOT Show stuff. So to answer your question, yes, I do plan on doing a couple of, like, longer form videos in the booth. That's pretty, in some booths. That's fairly low priority, though, for me. The vast majority of the content that will be done will be shorts And that may be somebody in the booth explaining a product. That may be just saying, "Hey, look at this cool whatever it is." It's a short, right?
Yeah.
We're at SHOT Show. Here's this cool whatever, and then end it. Obviously, pictures to go along with that kind of stuff, and you can find those on either the YouTube community tab. I'm pretty YouTube centric, so I would say that would be the number one place.
Yeah.
But I also probably push all that over to the Instagrams too, just because. So you got to figure most of the people that are watching or listening to this are probably YouTube people anyway. But that's going to be the bulk majority of it is going to be things like that during the show, and not just during the show, but during the trip as well. You know what I mean? I mean, there'll be stuff on the way to SHOT since we're driving. There'll be stuff coming back. There'll be stuff after parties, probably early in the morning before we leave for SHOT. Who knows?
I'm not so sure if some of those after parties or cameras may not be allowed in some of those.
Well,
I know some of the festivities that we have planned.
You have drunk live streamed once, so
no, I have drunk live streamed once. Yes, I did. That is fair.
Yeah,
but it was the Patreon only. Let's be fair about that too.
It can't happen. So,
but there are some things. There are some things that we're going to be doing next week that, as much as I would like to have cameras around, I also hope that aren't cameras around.
right. Yeah.
No, I hear you. Appreciate you coming on as always, brother. Anything else you want to plug before we get out of here?
Can't think of anything. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, for me, as far as my coverage is SHOT, I'll be pushing out a lot of Instagram pics. I mean, I'm going to be pushing out a bunch of Instagram pics. So if you're out there, that's funny, Chase, by the way. Well played. If you're wanting a bunch of pics, let me post some pics constantly over on Instagram. Now, unfortunately, if you guys have been on Instagram in a while, our Instagram got deleted not too long ago. So our new Instagram, in case you haven't figured it out, is Ghost Tactical 2.0. We have gone from 10,000 followers to 200 followers, and that's a little bit of a kick in the nuts for you. So we're trying to build up the new Instagram again. So go check us out at Ghost Tactical 2.0. That's the new home of our Instagram. It sucks, but it is what it is. We're trying to build that up. But as far as coverage, yeah, a lot of pics and stuff will be over at Instagram. We will be putting out a bunch of reels and YouTube shorts. Those we'll have some videos that we're going to put out, but it's going to be post-SHOT show. We always do a kind of a big range day and a big collage of everything at SHOT, but that'll come after the fact. For every day, we'll be putting multiple reels and shorts, or whatever you want to call them, out there. I'm actually looking forward to that because that's a new kind of a phenomenon since last year, and with my I would call it quirky or dark, but maybe some people call my sick sense of humor. Like, I can think of some really funny, sick things to do in 20 seconds in a booth with people if they're willing to have a sense of humor. So the shorts and the reels could be really fun this year. And I think that the 15, 20-second blasts, like every interview and booth that I do like interview or whatever, towards the end, I'm going to make sure we do like a funny 10, 15, 20 seconds of something with every booth. And that could be really interesting to see. Because I don't remember, I'm sure they were around last year, but I wasn't really doing the shorts or the reels or whatever last SHOT show. This would be the first year to kind of utilize those. I think that could be really fun, but that's our plan. Check out the community tab, check out our shorts reel on YouTube, and check out our Instagram feed next week. That's where we're going to be putting most of the stuff. And then obviously we'll have the created content stuff, the long form videos, the week or so after SHOT, getting those published. But yeah, we're looking forward to it.
You and I both also will be working on some business side things at SHOT.
Yes, we will.
That will set up some cool things for the rest of the year. So
this year is going to be different for me, and Clover as well.
Yep.
5th or 6th, whatever it is, SHOT. I can't remember with the 2020 not happening. I don't know if you count that or not. Whatever it is. SHOT's gonna be different for it's one of those things to where you went there and you were trying to get as much content as you possibly could for your channel, and you realize you go to SHOT for a week and I had like 70 videos. Awesome. I've got videos for the next 6 months to a year on the channel. Awesome. But I missed out on shot. I really didn't see shot. I didn't really enjoy shot because I didn't know what to do. The next several years, I did a lot of interviews, but then I also wanted to kind of look around. This past year, now it was maybe easier because there wasn't as many people there and it was easier to do it. Hey, Fix, how you do? Hope Angel does okay. Hope everything's okay with that. Anyways, I made a point this year in the last couple of years to really like transition into the business side of the YouTube game and understanding the business side of hopefully of the industry and how industry and media can work together and start kind of transitioning it that way. And then this year, obviously, with multiple podcasts and Clover and I starting up a brand new podcast and all of that, you know, you start talking about sponsorship ideas and this, that, and the other. So it's interesting the evolution from year 1 to year 6 or whatever it is, even in our realm, to see the changes of how we look at shot, how we cover shots is interesting. Clover, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I agree. It's definitely like a progression, you know. You start out, you're kind of in awe, right? And your goal, because you're in awe, you're there more of like a fan of the industry than
sure, 100%.
Like,
yeah, because you don't consider yourself part of it at that point.
Right,
you don't
really.
know
It's
anyone.
It's
you
almost
know?
like almost like you don't belong, even though you play that part, right?
Yeah.
And then eventually it's like, well, I do belong. I value the industry. I want to help the industry. That's my purpose as media, is to assist the industry. And then you move into a deal to where you're still making the content and you're doing things, but now you've added that aspect of I'm networking, right? I'm meeting all these people. Actually,
and now our contacts are actually like our contacts are just contacts anymore. They're like friends. Like we talk.
Yep.
Like it's gone beyond the work. It's like how the kids and you know that's when it's really fun is when you take that turn, you know.
Yeah, and then it moves, you know, from me for this year, it's like, okay, you know, you've gotten to a certain point now, you know, I need to start looking at the business aspect of media and industry and all of that and starting to learn to navigate those waters and you know, what can you do? Because, you know, unfortunately, I mean, I wished I was, you know, had Bloomberg money or Trump money or whatever it might be, and I could just jump on YouTube and make podcasts and videos and not have to worry about bills and not have to worry about getting to this.
I'd sell for a fraction of Bloomberg money. A fraction of Bloomberg
That's what I'm
money.
saying. You know, and it's sad because all the trips we attend throughout the year, what, 10 grand, right? 10 grand would cover that. Lodging, travel,
foods,
everything,
travel,
every single trip we attend throughout the year. And for companies, for certain companies, 10 grand is a drop in the bucket on their monthly marketing budget, right?
Yeah.
So from a business standpoint, it's like, I'm not looking to get rich, but you know, I don't want to have to stay in the ratty motel. I like staying in a decent hotel if I'm going to go, or, you know, maybe it'd be nice to not have to drive 24 hours straight,
not
to save
having
a few $100, right?
To not have to sell a gun or something in order to go to a show, you know,
that hurts.
or whatever. You know,
that hurts my heart. But try 3 this year.
I mean, it's what, but the fact that you're willing to do that to make sure you get to a show shows what you think of getting the SHOT Show. It's an important thing.
And I know I see Chris from the 740 out there. I know it's going to be his first year, and he's going to crush it for his first year. But you know, that's the thing. Chris made that realization. It's his first year going this time, and he made that realization. You do what you do to get the SHOT Show, but I can promise you this: if you go to SHOT Show, you have the work ethic, you're there for the right reasons, you will get a return on whatever it costs you to get the SHOT Show. Hands down.
If for no other reason, once again, you know, people can gauge success in different ways. Is it a monetary number that you're going to get from companies' marketing budget? Is it geared to review? Is it this, that, and the other? Or simply is it the networking? For me, the networking is vastly more important than the gear type thing. It's finding companies that you mesh well with, that you like, the people like Kyle and John and Chase, like we get along, like as people, like that relationship is cool, because if you don't like the people, like, or the company, then what the hell are we doing here? Like, let's move on. So the networking, getting to know the people and them getting to know you. And then now, you know, 3, 4 years, 5 years down the road, when you know these people, I think I met John at the Faxon booth in what 2018 in Indy.
He was just a wee little
2017 or 2018?
2019.
Yeah.
2018 or 2017 or whatever it was. Yeah.
2019 Indy.
Was it 2018 Dallas? Were you in Dallas?
No, I wasn't in Dallas. I was in
Okay,
Indy.
so it's 2019 Indy. Okay.
I got hired by Faxon, and I was in the office for 2 days, and then at NRA.
Okay. So yeah, I mean that's where we met John, and it's one of those things where now, like, you know, you text them, like, and it's gone beyond like the working relationship, and to me, that's where the return on investment is because the business side, like, it'll take care of itself if it's meant to be. If both sides see a mutual thing that could help each other in doing business, whatever that business is, it'll happen. But it's never going to happen if you don't get along and you don't find these relationships and friendships first. And to me, that's what is most awesome about SHOT Show, is meeting new people every year, meeting new companies. And it sounds bad. It sounds so bad. I'll always go to the dungeon first thing Tuesday mornings. I want to see who's not there from last year. Like, because I'll have a memory of like, okay, I wonder if this company's going to be there again. Like, I was really worried they may not make it. And it sounds bad, but it's one of those things where you're like, oh man, they're back. Like, I'm so happy that this company made it because I wasn't sure if they were going to make it this year. Getting to know some of these companies and watching them grow, and especially if you're just starting out in media as well. If you're out there and you're just starting out in media, there's a bunch of people that will do their first SHOT Show, you know, and you find a company, because Clover and I both found companies our first year at SHOT that now we've kind of like grown together, and we've been with like each other from day one, and that's the most awesome feeling in the world. What's that?
Yeah, one had two products. You know, I value this relationship so much. They had two products, literally.
Yep.
And now they are the world's premier, whatever, top, you know, in that particular
aftermarket thing.
Yeah. And so it's crazy to see, you know, what can happen with some of these companies.
Yeah, it's awesome. So I know people get sick of talking SHOT or hearing us talk about SHOT. For us, some of us, we're very passionate about SHOT.
And
it's the best week of the year. Yeah, and if they don't like it, they don't have to watch.
If you ever go, you will understand why we talk about SHOT.
And as much as I'm sure that you guys, John and Kyle and Chase, Kyle, we're definitely gonna have you on after SHOT because we got after action report we got to go through as well. For Chase and John that have been there on the industry side, as much as you hate it, I would imagine there is a part of it that you look forward to every year. Am I correct in that assumption?
Yeah, I mean, I look forward to it every year. I mean, it's work. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it's work, and we put a lot of work into it, but it's still enjoyable. It's still a fun experience for the most part.
Yeah.
It's a good chance to just catch up with everybody that you may have not seen or talked to, or most of the time it's the seeing part. Unless you're over a video chat or something, so it's a good.
Well, it's that face to face. You know what I mean, John?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like we talk on.
I mean, we can talk on the phone all you want, but that doesn't mean that like we can give each other a hug and go smoke and all that. You know, you can't do that on the phone.
When you turn a corner and like somebody's right there, and you're able to, you go have a smoke or lunch, or maybe you go out to dinner, or you do whatever, and that real live conversation. There's no replacement for that. There really isn't.
Yeah. No.
You know, social media and all the technology we got is wonderful. It allows us to do this and talk to lots of people and get them, you know, in the loop and involved in whatever. But there's no substitution for just the personal one-on-one time.
And I wonder how much 2020 bullshit that happened kind of. I think that maybe galvanized a lot of people, especially helped me to appreciate more. Not realize. I think we always realize it, but truly appreciate. Like being able to see your friends once or twice a year. When that got taken away from us there for a while, like you like, man, I haven't seen. I really wish I could see that guy, or you know, I haven't seen them in a while. And yeah, we talk back and forth, but I mean, like it's not the same thing as, you know, shaking hands with them, give them a hug, and all that. So I wonder if 2020 changed. It did for me, at least. It changed that for me. I appreciate the once or twice a year we get to kind of hang out as friends, and that's a cool thing, you know. All right, it's been 2 hours. Kyle, thank you so much. We're gonna have some fun next week. I'm looking forward to getting you on when we get back. Maybe I'll give you a week or two, you know, break because you're gonna need it. But I'd love to kind of get you back on, talk about some of the stuff that was released at SHOT, that we can talk about at that point. But more importantly, I want to get your after action, being this is your first time. Let me get your info and your feedback on how it went for you. I can't wait to see Clover, Chase, everyone out there like Snob and Chris, all the people that are out in the chat that are going to be going that I don't get to see very often, once or twice a year. Looking forward to see them. My schedule is pretty is packed as I want it to be. I'm only doing about 7 or 8 different like scheduled booth interviews. And obviously Kyle and Chase, y'all are on there. I'll be walking around the whole time doing spot stuff, but I'm trying not to schedule myself into a frenzy. I'm going to pick and choose the companies that I spend time with and make those quality visits instead of just trying to hop back. And that's something out there. If this is your first time is going as media, don't overload yourself with appointments. When you get there, I would say this: don't schedule any appointments on Tuesday. That's just me. Get your feet underneath you, find out where the hell you are, because you're going to get lost and you're going to get overwhelmed on Tuesday, guaranteed. Second of all, a lot of the buyers and distributors, they're there for Monday range day and Tuesday a shot, maybe into Wednesday morning. So they're going to be doing a lot of their business on Tuesday with these companies. Out of respect to those companies, let them have their time with the buyers. That's how they're making money. We have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday that we can clean up with the media interviews. Now, someone like Kyle who's there to do that, that's cool. But some people that don't actually have that social media person in the booth and they're all hands on deck for, making sales, respect that a little bit. Go by, stop by, say, hey, is your social media director or marketing person here? Hey, I know you're busy right now. It's Tuesday. Do you have any time? Would be a good time. How about tomorrow afternoon, bro? Perfect. That's the best way to handle is ask them what's good for them. Don't be upset if you go in at 8 o'clock or 8:30, I guess is when doors open Tuesday morning, and you start trying to set up this big rig camera system at someone's face in the booth. When everyone's going in there, they say, hey, man, they don't, blah, blah, blah. Don't take offense to that. It's going to happen. Spend some time to walk around and enjoy shot, look and kind of get your bearings. If you go down to the dungeon, see what it's about. Go up for the main floor for a little bit, see what it's about. Then go to Caesars, see what it's about, and then kind of get where you are and then start attacking. Go ahead.
And be open. And one of the reasons to do that is to be open for opportunity. You don't know what you don't know. And unless you're walking around.
Yeah, be fluid because it's going to change from minute to minute.
You're going to be walking around, and it may be Ghost sent you a text and let's go smoke, and I'm headed there, but I turn a corner, and the next thing you know, I don't show up out there where Ghost is at because I've turned a corner, and holy crap, this booth pulled me in, or it was something cool, or whatever the case may be, right? Opportunity is all over the place from a media perspective, for sure, at SHOT Show, and you never know. So you've got to be fluid enough to be able to stop and take, and seize those opportunities when they happen.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming on, Clove, as always. Chase, John, Kyle, thank you so much. We're going to have fun. We will not have an Armed Citizen podcast next week for obvious reasons, but also being Tuesday night, we're definitely not going to be in position or the mindset Tuesday night to be going live. We have some plans that night that are going to be rowdy. Wednesday night, not going to do that because I'm going to be hammered drunk, probably with Kyle Wednesday night. That's just the way it goes. Thursday night, we're not going to go live, but Thursday night's the one night of the week that we try to chill. We have a barbecue place that we're never going to tell people where it is unless you go with us. It's our secret barbecue place that we go to. And then we go back that night, start packing. We got to check out the Airbnb before we head out to shot that next morning. So Thursday night's a kind of a fun night. Maybe go watch a basketball game type thing and not like a professional. Like there's a basketball game that's included in shot. Go check that out, relax, and try not to do anything crazy because Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, those are fun nights. We'll just say that. But thanks for watching. Make sure you're checking out Anderson Manufacturing. Check out True Shot Gun Club. Check out EAA and Gerson and all of their companies that EAA brings in. Check out CloverTech. I mean, whatever. It's what it is. Don't check me out if you're subscribed to me. Unsubscribe because I'm just going to disappoint you. You're going to learn to know that. I will only disappoint you in life. But thank you for everyone that's watching this live. If you're out there still watching this live for 2 hours, God bless you. If you're watching this in replay or listening in podcast, You're my hero. 2 hours of this shit, you are not getting your money back, but I love each and every one of you. Thank to everyone on Patreon and our YouTube membership. You guys support what we do. You guys don't understand how much it means. We can't go to SHOT without people that are supporting the channel. It truly does mean a lot to that you guys are willing to do that. So thank you to everyone out there. We'll see you soon. Semper Fi.